Cwestiwn 6, David Rees.
Diolch, Llywydd. What action is the Welsh Government taking to support families who are told to self-isolate?
Llywydd, in addition to existing support for families, we have introduced a self-isolation support scheme, making £500 payments to people at risk of financial hardship because they are self-isolating. This scheme is now being extended to include parents and carers of children who have been asked to self-isolate.
Can I thank the First Minister for that answer and for the decision of the Welsh Government to expand the Self-Isolation Support Fund to parents, because that's clearly one of the concerns many have raised with me and my constituency, as many children have been asked to self-isolate within their schools, and single parents in particular are facing challenging times in delivering that. Can you confirm to me that that fund will work on a multi-occasional basis, because many parents, including my own grandchild, has been sent home more than once from the school, told to self-isolate. So it is important that they're aware of that. But can you also work with the campaign that the Welsh Government is leading with the TUC on asking employees to know their rights and responsibilities, and expand that to work with employers to know that their responsibilities, and in situations where we see parents having to take time off, or maybe on more than one occasion, employers act in a responsible and compassionate manner to ensure that those parents are entitled and reminded that they can return to work and their work is not at risk. But can they also ensure that if the employers decide to ask someone to stay home because of coronavirus, they also act responsibly to ensure that those individuals are financially supported by the employer?
We thank David Rees for those important points. We discussed these matters at the last meeting of the Social Partnership Council with representatives of employers in the private and the public sector, as well as trade unions were present. I'm very glad that the campaign that we have launched and are running at the moment is one supported by the CBI and the FSB, as well as the Wales TUC, and it's there to make sure that employers as well as workers know and then live up to their responsibilities. So the reason why we've extended self-isolation payments to parents and carers of children have been rehearsed on the floor here of the Senate. I think Helen Mary Jones raised it with me last week. But also, the more coronavirus is in circulation, the more people will be asked to self-isolate. In South Wales Police alone, 350 staff and police officers have been asked to self-isolate in the last 7 days. That is the impact of coronavirus in our communities and on our key public services. It is why it is absolutely essential and unambiguous that we have to take the actions that we are taking. And where people try to chip away at it, looking for restrictions to be lifted, acting as though restrictions are not necessary for the health of the public, that sort of figure simply tells you that unless we get this under control and act together to do it, the impact is absolutely real, not just in the health service, but in other public services as well. David Rees asked how many times it's possible to claim a payment. I think we allow it at the moment on 3 different occasions. If a setting has needed to ask people to self-isolate for 3 times in a row, then we think it is right to pause and find out what is going on in that setting. Because in the way that David Rees said, sometimes we need to put the cause of the problem right in a workplace, rather than always just dealing with the consequences.
Cwestiwn 7, David Rowlands.